Hello fellow Earthlings, it's Libs, and today I'm going to be doing my birthday book haul. So these are not books I necessarily only got for my birthday. Some were Christmas gifts and really books from the past 4 months that I've purchased. I've tried to be good and not make impulse purchases and to try and listen to more audiobooks and borrow more ebooks from the library, so I'm not completely filling my house with so many books that I can't see or find anything else. But I've got 8 books today to share with you that I'm really excited about. So the first book I have is one that is very popular, and I'm planning to read this for a video coming up in the future, and that is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I got the Penguin orange edition because it is so much cheaper than the other editions, and the really pretty one with the marble face you cannot find in Australia, or if you can, it's marked up a lot, so I decided to go with this one instead. I'm so excited to read this book. I'm kind of nervous. Everyone says it's beautifully written, so I'm really keen to get around to this. It's kind of like, I guess, the original like dark academia text, so I'm extremely keen to get around to reading this in the next few months. All I really know about it is that there's a student who goes to this really prestigious university and kind of gets caught up in this kind of creepy group of classics students and their weird professor, and that there's a murder. I'm down for all of that. Then I have a book that I picked up in December. This is one I've already read. I've talked about this a lot on my channel already, so I'm not going to go into it in too much detail, but that is The Collected Dorothy Parker by Dorothy Parker. I read this for my Reading Like Rory Gilmore video. As I said in that, I quite liked a lot of the poetry. I liked her play and book reviews. I didn't really care for the short stories all that much, and it's a huge collection, and it didn't need to be this big. Didn't need to be this big. Now, the tiniest book I've purchased in a while, and that is How and Other Poems by Allen Ginsberg. I'm reading this for a video coming up as well. I'm so excited to read this. I think this is a Wolf House classic, and I believe these are like printed for, like, you order them and they're printed, so they're not overprinting the books, which I think is great. This is absolutely tiny. There are so many different collections of his poetry with how being in them, so I wasn't sure which one to go for, but I thought I'd just get this tiny edition because it's beautiful, and I just want to see how I feel about his poetry before I get a huge collection, particularly after the last giant collection I purchased. I figured I better know what I'm getting into before I make that decision. Another book I've already read is Lonely Castle in the Mirror by Mizuki Sugimura. This one right here. I read this for the video where I read BookTuber's favourite books from 2021, and I loved this book so much. This is about this group of kids who get transported through their mirrors to this magical castle where there's a wolf queen who tells them they have to find, or they can find this mirror, not this mirror, they can find this key that unlocks a room where one of them can make a wish, but if they make a wish, the castle disappears and they all forget everything that happened in the castle. The only thing these kids seem to have in common is that none of them are going to school. And it's just a really great kind of exploration of like mental health for kids and things like that, and it's just a really great like YA book. I loved it. A book I've had on my wish list for literal years is The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. I don't remember much about what it's meant to be about, but I've wanted this for ages. I think it's like a time travel murder mystery, and the main character has to figure out who's murdering Evelyn Hardcastle every day, like the day resets or something. I could read the blurb to, try and figure out if my memory is correct, but I'm not going to do it because I want to walk into this relatively blind. And this is one that I'm definitely going to be reading, I think. Once autumn really kicks off, this will be a great one to read then. Another book I'm super duper excited for is Wait by Jeanette Winterson. I believe that this is a Greek myth retelling about Atlas. I don't really know anything else other than that. I just know a few booktubers have talked about this book before and said good things about it, and that was enough for me to beg for it for Christmas. So I'm very, very excited to read this one. I will be doing a video about where I read Greek myth retellings coming up relatively soon as well, and this will be one of the books. And the final two books I'm going to talk about are both part of a series. I own book 1 and book 3 in this series already, but I didn't own book 2 or 4, and so my mum picked these up for me. The first is book 2 in the series, and that is the series is Six Tudor Queens by Alison Weir, and this one is Anne Boleyn, A King's Obsession, and the fourth one is, of course, Anna of Cleve, Queen of Secrets. And I'm very keen to get back into this series. I think I read half of book 1 and moved house and never finished it, but I'm very, very into this period of history, so I'm very keen to get back into it now that I own the majority of the books in the series. The series is basically just really well researched stories about the queens who were married to Henry VIII, and really explores the little known details about them. And yeah, Alison Weir is a really cool historian. I really like all the stuff she does. I've read some of her history books before, and yeah, I'm really keen to just actually focus on this series. And now that I have more books in it, I'm really going to have to make sure I actually commit to the series. And that is it for this video. I'll link all of these books down below, as well as my story graph and Instagram if you want to see what I'm reading as I'm reading. And yeah, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.